Tuning into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah. What year was this?
Oh, I'm so bad at that. You know me.
Yeah,
Like,
no, time for you doesn't exist. Oh, here we are, AfterBuzz TV. You are tuning in for episode 20, season 2 of Scorpion, called Djibouti Call.
Djibouti-licious.
Hence the bootylicious that we have going on in the background, right?
Yeah, it's pretty related.
I didn't think of the song, and you're like, how did you not?
This is the only booty song I think of.
I was trying to think of a booty call.
Like booty, 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 rockin' away. That could have been, right?
Isn't there like a Cheney song about booty call?
Oh, yeah,
That's more of what I was
yeah.
thinking. I love the way that was faded out. That was nicely done. Nicely done. Welcome, you guys. I am here, so excited. I'm Monse Bolanos. Thanks for tuning in. If it's your first time tuning in, welcome. If you've been here week after week, thank you. Here we are again. I know, thank you. Coming almost towards the end of the season. Yeah. I'm Monse Bolanos. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. And across from me, my awesome, beautiful co-host, Susannah Kim.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Susannah_Kim. It's SUSANNAH.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to start at the show first apologizing for incorrect information I gave last week. I usually follow IMBD when I'm looking up shows and episodes. IMBD, right?
DB.
DB. I said IMDb. Thank
The
you.
Internet Movie Database.
Thank you. I was like, what did I just say? Thank you. I normally follow that, and Scorpions is not up to date. So I even was like, I can't believe there's only 2 episodes left. Like, I feel like there's no coming to an end. Like, it's just gonna abruptly
feel like it was,
end.
like, building up.
Right.
Me
so,
too. I checked Spoiler TV, I think is what it is, and they only had 2 more episodes, so that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. So
you know, but whose fault is that though?
Yeah. But I'm
who's
sorry.
doing Scorpions marketing?
So that also is a perfect time to thank the people that let us know.
Yes.
On Twitter, we have at RachelAnn7925, and we also have at Great GRT Cynthia. Thank you guys for letting us know. And on YouTube, just JC Fang, Steven Starr, Teets, and Chanela. Thank you guys so much for commenting. Always. Thanks for being there. We had a great time with last week's episode.
Every week.
But this week, loved it. Loved this episode.
Yeah.
Loved it. I'm going to say top 3 favorite.
Really?
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, it wasn't there for me.
The writing to me in this episode was so good.
Really?
The way things were said and how so many connections from the beginning of the episode to the end of the episode. Like, there was just so many little things that I really liked.
Yeah.
The mission itself, I'm not going to lie, I actually didn't care for it.
Yeah.
But aside, and I still top 3 just because of everything else. All the little things surrounding the mission.
Right.
I really liked.
I like the small moments that they had. Yeah, like between the characters. I liked that. Yeah, I think maybe it was the mission itself that just kind of like lost me. I wasn't, it wasn't like high stakes. It wasn't like, for me, it was all about that snow episode. I loved Whiteout. Like that's where I set my bar. So for me, it wasn't up there. For sure it wasn't top 3.
I loved it.
Yeah, I
loved
the writing. Yeah, a lot of good moments.
It was very good. And if you guys have been here week after week, we're going to do a little bit of a different setup for this episode. Yeah. There was so many good stuff, so many relationships that we kind of want to delve into versus just the mission. So first, we're actually going to start with our guests on the show that we had, characters we've never seen or that came back.
Yeah.
Like Haywood. Hey, would you help me? Hey, would you help me? I love him. Actor Horatio Sands.
Yeah.
Loved him. Loved how we saw him at the beginning of the episode. Then at the end of the episode.
And I like that they're keeping that storyline still going through with Sylvester trying to get, the Megan Dodd pediatric ward.
Love that. Yeah. And even though we just get a little bit of it, I enjoyed that. Like, you're keeping good. We're still going with it. And seems like he's going to come back. Love it. Love
and the
it.
way that they show, like, his kind of like vulnerable, like, you know, like
yes,
he's on TV, like, oh, you know, like it'd be funny if he were like a kind of a successful bad lawyer,
right?
But it's kind of nice and like humbling to see, like, oh, you know, he's just like one of us, you know, he's just trying to get by. Sometimes you try to do something really hard and you just end up having a court date in a couple weeks.
Like, poor guy getting himself in trouble.
When it rains, it pours.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is when, from the beginning, I was like, I love this episode because there's a point where he opens his briefcase and there's like an eaten sandwich just standing on top of his paperwork.
That's clearly the best spot for it.
That's the best lawyer. Like, clearly. Right? So I'm glad he's in it. I'm glad he's back. It almost is like the... what was
Ray?
It? Thank you. The Ray of Sylvester, kind of. Like, because we see, so now this is Sylvester's friend, kind of. Like, at the end of it, he totally extended a hand out. Was like, you're going to win your first case with me. Guaranteed.
But instead of, like, in the situation, like, Ray helping Walter out, this is more of, like, Sylvester being sort of, like, a mentor to someone, which is not something that we would expect from Sylvester at all. But yeah, it's nice that he has something to offer to someone else.
Yeah, especially because he's a lawyer, but it's like...
Are you?
Are you?
Are you though?
Are you? And Sylvester, can't you do better without him? Maybe.
Toby. Right? Yeah.
Like I don't. But I love it. I love that part about it. That it's like he's so not qualified, in a sense, to be representing this genius.
Right. But I mean, at the same time, geniuses too, while they're super smart, I don't know that they have that social skill. You know,
but does he have it? I mean, he does, but in a different way.
Yeah. But it's interesting to think of like, oh, you know, there are, you know, smart career paths that our geniuses can't take.
Right.
You know? They don't have the social skills for it. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm glad we started and ended it with him and that he's gonna be back. So yay, Horatio Sands. And then the bad guy, Copley. Is that what they were calling him? Copley? Copley. Yeah. Copley, who was played by Sean Cameron Michael. I liked his accent.
Yeah.
You know, I liked his long hair. I was like, you go, guy. I know you're a bad guy.
Silver fox kind of thing going on?
Yeah, like I know you're a bad guy, but stay on the show for me. I'm cool with it. But I liked his character brought like so much to Paige's character. I think that's what I liked about it. Paige had to go out of her comfort zone, you know, because she like, especially with this guy Tim, who we're gonna talk about. So I don't know if it was necessarily that I liked him or that I just liked his scenes so much with Paige, like that whole undercover thing, all of that, loved it. So he was good looking, I'll say that, Silver Fox, but I don't know if it was just that I liked the other people in it.
And we've seen Paige do undercover stuff before, but I feel like this was so much better because she was in charge. She was the one that was, you know, kind of doing a better job than, you know, what was his name? Tim?
Right,
Tim was doing, so.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Tim didn't seem to have a earpiece in, right?
No.
It was just her.
Just her.
Which I liked because, again, we talked about how, wouldn't you see that? Wouldn't this guy see that? So I was glad he didn't because they made it seem like he didn't because she was hearing happy and he was kind of like, what are you hearing? Like, why are you reacting this way? Oh,
God. He's like, what?
Yeah. It's just, so I liked all of that. And we got to talk about Tim, but we're going to talk about him so much. Let's talk about him, I guess, right now. Cool. Tim, the trainee. That's kind of how the episode starts. Tim Armstrong in combat, practically dying. And then instantly, this like really suave looking guy standing on the street, not too shabby looking, you know, very clean cut, holding a cup of coffee for Cabe.
Yeah, it seemed too good to be true.
A little bit, right? Right.
Yeah, I was like very back and forth with him the whole episode. I was like, I love him. I hate him. I love him. I don't trust him. I love him. Nah, there's no way that could be real. There aren't guys like that. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm watching a TV show. So yeah. You know, whatever they write. But, you know, like I was all over the place with him.
I agree. Scott Porter is the actor. And I don't know. So I'm with you. I loved him. I hated him. It wasn't that I didn't trust him, but he has like this, I see an evilness in his character. Like I feel like he could play a really good bad guy.
And that's what I was kind of hoping a little bit.
But it doesn't seem like he's a bad guy at all. That's not what I was getting through his character at all. It was just his look. And then I was like, maybe I've seen him in something where he's a bad guy, and that's why. So I looked it up. I don't know if his credits are up to date, like Scorpions, but no. I've seen him in, the only thing I've seen him in, he has like a lot of movies that I just have not seen, but he was in Prom Night, and his character was not he wasn't the bad guy. He was actually a boyfriend that gets killed. Very sad.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So like, that wasn't it. I don't know why. I'm just like, you look evil.
Yeah.
Like you have something in your eyes.
As soon as they started saying like, oh, let's look into him, that's when I mean, I'm so easily like influenced. But yeah, I started like judging and like doubting him. And then I was thinking like, okay, Cape picked him up, you know, in front of a building. He didn't actually go into the building and pick this guy up. This guy could have sent Cabe an email, you know, that was like a hacker. I'm also watching like shows on hackers and stuff. Mr. Robot's amazing. But you know, like this guy could have easily sent me an email saying like, hey, you know, I'm your new trainee. Come meet me here. He just goes and buys a coffee, and then this guy comes and picks him up in front of the building, right? He could have been anybody. And I think that would have been kind of cool. Right? Yeah, I was not trusting him.
You were not. I didn't have that much of an issue, even though they like 3 times they went to like investigate him.
Yeah, as well they should.
Yeah, well they should. And that whole thing about being on the side of the street, like with a coffee, you know,
I just think it's too suspicious to be that prompt. Okay, ain't nobody on time like that.
That's true. I'm Hispanic. That's 100% true.
And your coffee? What?
Right? And he had the right coffee.
I know. Yeah, that's true. I was like,
but Cade
what did you
say,
hack into to get?
Cade did say you did your homework. Right. You did. You know, he did say that. Yeah. And so yeah, the team investigates him like several times, but still, I was like, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. So
I mean, we might not. I mean, he might change.
Yeah,
he might be fooling us this whole episode. That would be kind of amazing if they kind of took this into like, you know,
something
the next
deeper
couple episodes, and then he ends up being like not a great guy, you know, and this was all act because he is too good to be true.
Yeah, I was driving here, and I was like, what if he is like trying to sneak in to take something down from Scorpion?
Yes, that's what.
But then I was like, no.
I mean, he researched them. He knew about, you know, Happy's little like thing. So I mean, obviously, you know, it could go totally the other way. He's just praising them, and he, you know, loves them. But it'd be pretty interesting.
But it's like they give you all of his credits. This is where you and I are gonna completely, like, we so disagree. We hardly disagree on this show. They give you all of his like credits, and like the way it's like he's being discharged, he's fighting it, and if he doesn't win, you know, this is like the best way to. Yeah. So it's like,
I mean, I believe that he's a good guy. He could totally be a good guy. I'm just saying, for me, what I would hope would happen, just because I'm a terrible person, is that he would end up being a bad guy just for drama. I just like drama.
But we get drama, and that's how exactly we're gonna get into the relationships part of the show. Yeah. Drama, so much drama in Scorpion that is about to start because of Tim. So there's still drama, but it's love drama.
Yeah,
Tim and Paige.
That's true.
In this episode, what'd you think?
It's again love hate. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my god, it's freaking precious, and then I'm like, wait, I really want Paige and Walter to get together, you know?
I mean, I'm not saying we're not gonna get that, and I'm not saying like Tim and Paige are gonna end up happily ever after. I mean, if they do that, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
but
it was nice to see Paige get some acknowledgement on how good she is at her job, and, you know, get some like a little bit of boy attention.
Yeah,
and
she was so cute since the beginning.
Yeah,
like from the minute when he walks in and she gets the like foam on her lip,
a little Sex in the City moment there.
Yeah. And like Walter, the quick shot of Walter looking at her, so good. Such a quick shot.
So much.
After just having spoken Walter and Toby about like, don't worry about it, you're not even gonna think about it. Like that whole the whole 45 seconds of that was so good. And then when they go undercover and he brings that up as to how they met,
that was a seller. I was like, okay, all right, either you're really a great guy or you're a con man.
I don't know. real smooth. I was like, oh, is he saying this? Right? And her face, so cute. And it was like, where was he going with this? Paris, like latte, you know? And then it's like, oh,
very Ross and Rachel,
very so cute. And this is one of those things in the episode that I like that happened to be, you know, something happened at the beginning, and then like
later.
Like Sylvester and the Monkey, which we can, you know, throw that in as we talk about it. But like this is the stuff that I really liked about the episode. But I love them. I love the drama that is slowly sprinkling.
Yeah.
Because Toby's like gonna call him out. Called him out from the beginning to Walter about it. So not the drama you want, maybe. But don't worry, we'll get Paige and Walter.
Yeah, I have
We'll
issues.
get him. So. What about Walter and Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, he obviously is jealous of him. You know, that's what I'm getting is that, you know, he's jealous of him. But I can potentially see them being, like, friends later, you know? Like, he's a total opposite from Walter. So I can see him kind of being like that Ray to Walter, you know, kind of like bringing out the soft side. He's very thoughtful. He's very, you know, like great at using his words. And he's touchy with Paige and, you know, stuff like that. Like, cues for Walter, you know what I mean?
What if it was like he is not interested in Paige for whatever reason and does really help Walter, you know, get Paige.
Yeah, maybe.
That would also be a good one.
That would also be too good to be true. Where are the guys like that? Not nowhere.
Not nowhere. Where are they?
I mean, that would be nice, but that would be definitely a written television show.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I appreciated, though, a Tim Walter relationship versus the Tim Paige relationship, because Tim with Paige was very soft and very like romantic and like sweet, but then Walter and Tim, every time they kind of talked, it was a little bit butt-heady.
Yeah,
a little bit. Not it's not like they were gonna throw it down, but it was like a completely
you don't
different.
know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and the whole from beginning to end, and it was like jealousy or what?
Right.
Is it jealous? It's like, are you jealous, Walter?
I think he just doesn't know how else to react to
Because
that.
there's several things to be jealous about.
Right.
You know, it's not even just Paige, because Toby calls him out. Like, okay, what about Cabe? Like the whole father figure. You know, we know like Walter has daddy issues with his real dad, so he does see Cabe as a very close father figure.
True.
And Toby calls him out from the beginning. He's like, oh, this is about Cabe, not about Paige.
Right.
But it's like, maybe it's about both.
Yeah.
Why can't it be about both? But it's like jealousy in so many different ways.
Right. Yeah, it just makes him uncomfortable.
Yeah, it just makes him uncomfortable. Even just to how like everyone else seemed to like him.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
even from the beginning when Toby's like, oh, he's telling the truth. I analyzed him. You know, like everyone was so easy to like him. So I like the difference in the character from Tim between the two people. Yeah. And then we'll go to Quintis. Yeah. Our last relationship to discuss, I think, right? There was no more real relationships because we did not get any Paige and Walter. Nada. Loved it. I loved how they were more coupley.
Yes.
Last episode, we got no coupley stuff. Remember we talked? I was like, nothing. If you would have tuned into that episode, I don't think you would have known that they were
right.
dating.
Like they had some small like jabs here and there at each other. Actually, someone messaged me. Thank you to Juliana Guzman, like pointing out that there was like that part where he's like, oh, you know, who here thinks I can beat 197, you know? And she kind of like nudged him a little, like, you know, carrying in that little, I don't know, she obviously has a problem with his betting, you know? And so it's nice to see that this episode was sort of like a counseling session for them, right?
A little bit.
Like they had all these issues and then at the end they finally like hash it out.
Yeah.
And, you know, she is like trying to get to the bottom of it and find a solution, sort of. Yeah. You know, she's like, oh, all right, well, you want to have that, what is it? All those endorphins and all that.
Right, because he is talking about how he can't just kind of cold turkey quit gambling.
Right. And he likes the rush.
So he's playing Truth and Dare. And she's like, over it.
Right.
Yeah. Which I would be too. I mean, Toby's dancing on top of a table with coconut bra on. Like, because of a dare.
Right.
Eating saltine crackers.
And I mean, like, for me, I feel like that's part of Toby's charm. You know? For me, like, that's why I would love Toby, you know? Like, or, you know, like, I would hope that Happy sees that and, you know, and, like, finds that endearing in a way. You know? I understand, like, having a gambling issue if you're losing money, this and that. But, I mean, like, it's fun to, like, you know, make bets. I love betting quarters. I bet people quarters all the time. So.
You know, I agree with you. I do think that's part of Toby's charm.
Toby's charm, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And...
So. Yeah, it's nice that they acknowledged it, though. So I guess they're going to be making out now instead of him betting. Is that
right?
What's
That's what it. And I love that though. It needed to be something that I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's
you know.
true.
So it's something, and he clearly was not expecting it. You know. So I like that.
Yeah.
But I think is that what that means? You guys are going to make out every time he wants to do a truth or dare? So.
Fixed.
So fixed. He's constantly going to be like, somebody truth or dare me.
Yeah.
So that she can kiss me. But so much drama. But like, we love drama.
Yeah.
Even real celebrity drama.
Yeah, all the time. Are you guys curious about celebrity boyfriend's midlife crisis?
Yes.
Are you guys constantly online looking through, all
Yes, I'm going to do it right now.
gossip sites? Are you guys enjoy hearing stories about behind the scenes of Hollywood? Or are you guys amused by old TV and movie references like Monse and I do?
All the time.
All the time. All day.
All day.
Then you guys will love The Tomorrow Show with Kevin Undergaro. Join AfterBuzz creator Maria Menounos' fiance, Kevin Undergaro, along with AfterBuzz co-hosts Roxy Stryer, awesome, Ashley Daniels, and others for all the insanity. Watch live Monday and Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time on thetomorrowshow.com. Or subscribe and download free on iTunes. Go to thetomorrowshow.com for more information.
Yeah, just download it because I don't ever watch a show when it airs. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I have to TiVo everything.
I think that's pretty much
so
everyone now, right?
Just go subscribe. Go do it. Just do it.
Check it out. It's so much energy. It's so quick.
Yeah, right? And let's get into the mission of the episode, which is kind of where we're both like,
nah, yeah.
I
have so many really moments.
Really? Okay.
Right?
All right. So the thing is that we're not really told what the real mission is until kind of the story has developed.
Right, true.
We're originally told that they have to go to Camp Paisley in Africa to install a newly developed audio surveillance system. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got all that.
Yeah, fancy.
Don't ask me anymore because that's all I got. No, I'm just kidding. It can hear conversations like up to 100 miles away, so they think it can interfere with like hearing possible terrorist attacks happening. Mm-hmm. So it's, they think they're doing something for the greater good.
Yeah.
And they basically get money thrown on their lap.
And my question is, how much is that check? I always want to know how much they get paid, right?
Yeah.
Because Happy's reactions was so like,
right.
All right, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, how much does that have to be for them to be like, okay,
right?
Let's go to Africa.
And I liked how Walter kind of challenged it from the very beginning. He was like, "Why are we doing this?
Right.
We shouldn't be doing this type of thing." And I liked that because at first I was like, "Why are they gonna go install?" What? It's just a soft,
it's so easy. Yeah, right.
Something that I feel like an engineer could figure out. You know what I mean? My brother, send him. He'll figure it out. So it's just like, I like that it was challenged from the very beginning.
True.
So they head over to Africa. And I like how right from when they land there, Sylvester brings up the monkey. And he's like, are there any monkeys? And of course, the monkey goes into effect several times.
Yeah, that monkey was
all over the
place. Did they use the same monkey or
I don't know. But you know what I read today on
why do I care?
I read like things of friends that you may not know because I love reading them because I know everything.
So you got it, Marcel.
But they used 2 monkeys
For Marcel.
Yeah,
and I saw that.
And one of them they stopped using them because it was like they were really hard to work with. Like the scene with Rachel where she's like watching the TV show with him and she's like talking to him, did you poop in the shoe? All of that. Apparently he kept throwing like popcorn and like chips or whatever was up. Yeah, so they were like, we can't do this anymore. Anywho, who knows if they used that monkey, 2 monkeys, I don't know.
I would love to know.
If you know, please tweet us and let us know. But this, I like how, again, a little drop of a hint that is going to later go into big effects with the mission. And when we are there at Camp Paisley, they're trying to like install the thing. That's kind of where we start to figure out something else is going on when Cabe and Tim leave. Yeah. It's like, where y'all going?
Mm-hmm. And
what?
It was such a, I know, right? And he was like, we'll be back later. Okay.
You've never done this.
You're probably going to take safari or something.
Yeah. It just was funny because it's like you've never done something like this and they didn't fight it. They were just like, okay, we're going to install this. We're going to not open this box that you told us not to open.
Yeah.
And because of how they leave, remember how we mentioned that they kept like Walter keeps kind of investigating on Tim just because of how he opened the door.
Right.
It's
like
a
small detail.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, how did you notice that?
Yeah.
It was so subtle.
Right.
Like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then that's where we start to kind of, maybe something else is going on. Mm-hmm. And there is. We got Cabe and Tim like fighting the bad guy. Copley. I don't know why I say Copley. They find his like base camp. I'm gonna call his like grounds where he keeps all this artifacts.
Right.
Because this bad guy steals these artifacts and sells them in the black market for a lot of money.
A lot.
This bowl was $5 million.
Why? I know.
They
said it was ceremonial vessel used for fertility.
So what you gonna do with that?
So it's like a mixing bowl for the eggs and the sperm. Is that? I'm not sure.
But
what like bowl and fertility. I'm like,
and it was like cracked.
$5 million. So Jesus was made in this bowl, right? That's the only. Right? I mean,
yeah. I think that's what bothered me. That I was like, a bowl.
Right?
This is what this is about.
Making bowls right now.
$5 million bowl. I think, yeah, because everything else of like the mission was like fun, but like a bowl. Yeah. This is what this is about.
And like he knew this thing was $5 million, and they're just touching it. Like, what about all the dirt and the oils from your fingers? $5 million. You got to put on some gloves. For that,
yep,
right?
It's so true.
Any curator would tell you.
Yeah. So he sells it in the black market, and this stuff goes to like bad things. It goes to bad guys training young bad guys, to building bombs, to doing all this bad stuff. So they want to stop him, but they're like, we can't just kill him because then somebody else is going to take a spot.
Right.
So they kind of want to ruin his credibility so people don't buy from him.
Yes, ruin the system.
Exactly. So they basically try and make a fake using that 3D printer. You didn't like that?
No.
Why?
I don't know. I was just like, really?
Like, how do you like how they replicated it, like using a 3D printer?
I don't know. It just seems so like easy to me. Like it just seems like I don't know. It seems way too easy to use like a 3D replicator to replicate this. I don't even know how old this bowl is. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just felt like it was way too easy. But I mean, I do know like 3D printers are like all the rage now. I don't know if maybe they're trying to like bring in things that are like very relevant to.
Right. Something that is currently being used that's super popular right now.
So popular.
Yeah. I mean, this is me just playing devil's advocate because you're not a fan of this. Well, they weren't able to do it right away. They had to go make a clay. They couldn't make organic. Your face. Yeah. Okay, so she's just not. All right. Yeah, it's a bowl, man. Why?
It's so much better when they break it.
Why? How does it break, Susannah?
Sly drops it because of the freaking monkey.
That annoyed
Where was
me.
The monkey from?
That annoyed me so much.
I was so not.
I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Right now?
Yeah.
But
that really
maybe it was supposed to annoy us. It was like you could have written something that didn't upset me.
Yes. I just wish he hadn't like just dropped it because the monkey scared him. You know, like there are a million other ways that thing could have dropped and broken.
Right? So many other ways.
I was just like crushed.
Yeah, it really annoyed me. It really upset me. If Sylvester would have been in front of me, I would have lost my cool.
Happy's like, oh, we don't have to worry about anyone else killing you because I'm going to get to you first.
Exactly. That's literally how I felt. So it was like, you could have written it a different way, but okay. So yeah, the one that they do make using this 3D printer after they make this clay that they have to create because it does not recreate organic materials,
Right.
It breaks. And then they have to like do another mission right there. Using a helmet that was already there, heating it up. She went and got more clay, by the way, like underground. Because, everyone was accessing this place underground.
Yeah.
All of them. Down from the very beginning when Cabe gets kidnapped and Cabe gets his butt kicked.
Yeah.
The whole episode. Poor guy. Tied up. Poor guy. But like all this is underground stuff. So she goes down. And that's what annoyed me, I guess. No, Sylvester annoyed me the most, for sure.
That was the worst. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst. But the whole helmet, like melting it using or the heat and using that helmet to fix the crack.
And I loved that. I loved all of that. I just wish they had, I don't know. The 3D printer for me was just too easy. I wish maybe they had someone that made, I don't know, just something. But anyways.
That made it by hand?
Right, or just, I don't know, just something more difficult, I guess. But anyways, it's like, they just made it. So then why don't you just go make another one? You had a machine, go make another one, right? And so it's like, I wish it was more like one of a kind.
But at that point, no, because they didn't have that much time. Because
obviously they didn't have the time.
Right.
But I feel like it would have made it seem more like, oh my god, that was the one bull. Yeah. And this is like, you just made that like a few minutes. You know what I mean? So it just, I don't know, it made it less important to me.
And with what you just said, I think that's why it annoyed me so much about Sylvester, because he was like he dropped it and it was like,
right.
Okay, I dropped it. So what do we do now?
Or like get mad at the monkey or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the reaction. Yeah. And then even like Toby and Walter hearing like he dropped it. Like just, like, I don't know. Just something about it was like, they dropped it for me.
Yeah. And that monkey comes into play again because he scares Sylvester. And then when he scares Sylvester screams, Cabe kicks that guy that is keeping him hostage.
Right.
Because Walter Walter and Toby find him. Remember they used that cherry to tranquilize that big guy? Then there's like a little fight, and then he like falls.
And they fall into
the place. So it's like they weren't gonna do anything, but Cabe saves the day. Cabe's such a badass.
Right?
Even hanging, he's such a badass.
I know.
Right? It's
like, oh, you guys thought you were gonna save me? Is that what you thought was happening here? Okay, I'm just gonna take this guy out with my legs. Right? He just like twisted him with his legs.
I'm gonna save all of us.
His core strength.
Yeah.
Cabe works at his core.
Yeah, good job, Cabe. Another, not silver, but maybe salt and pepper fox. It's like he's not super silver, not as white as, the other guy. But you go, Cabe. You go. You never disappoint. No matter the episode, Cabe, you never disappoint. And like the whole way, we haven't talked about it. But okay, so Cabe escapes. You think everything's going to be okay because Happy puts the bowl back in the spot or whatever. But we have Paige and Tim like moments away from being discovered. The guy opens the door, Happy's gone, and you think it's going to be okay. But then his bodyguard, assistant, whatever he is, comes in and is like, we need to talk about something right now.
I like that.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't think that that's how they were going to get caught.
Yeah, no, me neither. I didn't even consider that there was an actual Mrs. and Mr. whoever.
Samson.
I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I see. So that's who you were trying to be.
That's who you were trying to be.
Yeah, so that was a nice surprise.
I know. I like that. And then
down on purpose.
Happy underground, like, lifts a wood panel, knocks something down all over them. Yeah. And that's how they're able to run away.
Yeah. I was like, that's millions of dollars right there.
So many things you've just destroyed. I feel like this guy's going to be real mad. Right? You need to be careful. And he is real mad. He starts shooting at them. And as they're running, the first time I saw this, I don't think I paid attention to the fact that as they're running towards the car, Tim puts his jacket on Paige. Yeah. I don't know if I noticed it, and I remember her jacket getting stuck and him being just like, leave it,
They kind of slowed it down for just a few minutes, like for just a second. Yeah, that whole
I was eating the first time I watched this episode, so I may have been looking down as I was taking a bite into whatever I was eating. And I may have missed that moment. But I saw her getting shot, and I was like, oh no. And then like they don't really tell you that. I thought it was I didn't know she was wearing his jacket, and I didn't even think about the fact that it was bulletproof.
I didn't think of that.
They didn't tell us
he put his jacket around her though.
Yeah, and it's funny because this is why I like this episode so much. He mentions how they have to go get clothes from a specific person. I don't remember who. I don't remember the title, but the ambassador or something was going to give them clothes. And I was like, why do you, like fancy clothes? Is that why you need them? Because you don't have fancy clothes with you? Okay.
You fit in.
Yeah, like I totally didn't think about that. And then when they bring that back, she was like, they need to make it thicker or they need to do something. Right. It's like, oh, that's so smart.
I like the small little details.
Loved it. But I seriously thought she was shot. And I screamed. I was eating, but I screamed. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, she's shot. I can't believe
that never happens.
Never. Not expecting it. And because how you said it was like slow motion, like you just see it. And she like, the way her body reacts, it was so good. Good job, Kathy. McPhee. They take her away, and even when they were in the car, I still thought it was real because Sylvester's like, she's not doing well, like, or Toby maybe says it. One of them says she's not doing well. We need to get her somewhere.
Right, I think it was Sylvester.
Yeah, so like that whole time, I still thought she was shot. Yeah,
yeah. I thought we were gonna end up at the hospital or something.
Oh, me too.
And then they didn't. I was like, really, you guys? And then I realized, so, okay, it's more like a sledgehammer, not an actual gunshot.
Right. That whole kind of car chase after they picked her up, where they used the flare gun, went reverse to like make an explosion.
Yes.
I guess it was the fact that he had to go in reverse, and I feel like he was just driving towards bullets, and it's like nobody else got hurt.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, that was a lot of gunfire going around for just one person.
Yeah, and it's not like you were swerving; you were just in a straight line. So I was like, I feel like somebody else should have gotten.
I mean, it took out the windows though, right?
And it like you heard it like totally. But it just was like I feel like they were driving directly to fire.
My only thing is after the explosion happened, so then that car was exploded,
right?
And then they went straight towards where that car would have been sitting, right? So I feel like
they had passed it. No.
So I feel like they were going forward, and then the car was coming, and then they started going backwards. Yeah. And then they hit the tank. The tank blows up. The car gets blown up or something. Yeah. And then don't they go forward again? to get away from the guy that was behind them, the bad guy.
But then they taught. Oh, I don't.
So I feel like they go forward again. But what, they hopped over that exploded car? Maybe it blasted them right off the road. That's what I remember seeing. I was like, okay, all right. Well, and then the frame, you just see the back of the car, so you don't see what would be on the other side of the road. But I don't know. That's how I read it. And I was just like, all right, maybe they just go around.
Because they do still...
It's probably me being picky.
But they do still run into the bad guy after that, and then they still run into, and they shoot at each other again, don't they? Oh no, they drive off. They drive off. They're just shooting at them.
Into the bad guy, and then they drive off. So when they drive off,
they drive
towards
over
the.
Right? She's right.
So I was like, he just hopped right on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Thank you.
You're right.
You know,
I didn't even think about that.
I used to really enjoy watching Scorpion. Now I'm like, feel like I'm more picky
than anything.
I'm like, I just want to pick up little things. Yeah, exactly.
It's like we were on a right part of this episode.
Too invested now.
Too invested. Seriously. Yeah, I think you're right. I didn't even think about that. But then they go off and fly into the sunset, back to home,
back to the garage.
And that's where we get a little bit more of the whole Tim and Paige. Yeah. We get Walter and Cabe again, which was cute. She's like, did Toby tell you about my jealousy when he was in the cave? And he was like, yep, on the flight home. Yeah, like that. I was like, yeah, that's true.
So he would topic of discussion.
Yeah, so good. And then he kind of, the episode ends with him staring at Paige and Tim.
While Tim is like, nursing Paige.
Yeah, which, Walter, why aren't you doing that?
Yeah, but I can't even imagine him doing that, though.
I know, but it's like...
He doesn't have that in him. So, maybe he's learning from watching that now.
That's true. Maybe he is learning.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what sort of effect this guy has on Walter, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, because he's going to be back next week.
Yeah.
So let's go into predictions. If you don't want to know what is happening next week, then bye. Thanks for being here. Okay,
I mean, not that we know what's happening next week.
We don't, but we're gonna talk about the preview.
As you guys do.
Yeah, the preview for next week is that there's gonna be a huge storm.
Yeah, what state are they in?
I don't know. Maybe they thought it was this storm that they told us we were gonna get that we never got here in LA.
Shoot, I don't watch news enough for that.
They said we were gonna get a storm and that it was gonna rain for like 3 days. That never happened.
What?
So maybe that's what they heard, and they were like, "Let's do an episode on it," and then the storm never came. So we'll find out, but. It seems as though like Paige is like hanging off of a branch and Walter is holding like Walter, branch, wind about to take her down, but they still show Tim, so Tim is still there,
but he's not holding on to Paige.
He's not.
So
Tim's gonna my prediction is that Walter is going to like start to lose his grip with her, and then Tim's gonna come and like save both of them. Predict that.
Ugh.
That's totally what I think.
Poor Walter.
Poor Walter.
Oh man, poor guy.
That's my prediction for that, and I don't have a like prediction. I predict Tim will go through the rest of the season. I believe there's 4 episodes left, maybe 4 or 5. I believe the last one is April 25th, so there's probably gonna be a break because how Scorpion likes to do that. I don't have a prediction on the long term. My prediction is just for next week, and I say we keep Tim, we keep Hayward, and the whole Sylvester thing with Megan Dawes and suing and trying to. I say that's going to keep going. What about you?
I think more. I mean, that would be interesting to see that next week. I'm thinking more like long term. I see Tim being there for a few episodes. I think he's going to have an effect. Obviously, he's already having an effect between Walter and Paige. I think it's going to be positive for Walter to push him and Paige together. And then I think Tim will eventually win his, because he was saying that he wants to get back into the SEALs. Right. So I think he's eventually going to win that and get back in where he won't be with Homeland anymore.
And then he'll leave.
Yeah. And that'll be that. And, he'll be happy with his job. So I think, he'll have a reason to leave. Not like it'll be bad or whatever, but it'll be a good thing, Maybe even Hayward helps him, get back into his Navy SEAL thing. Right. So I think that would be kind of interesting. But
what if, just throwing it out there, what if it turns out and this is all because of Clueless. I'm thinking about Clueless. What if he turns out gay and that's how he's not interested in Paige?
Okay.
Because in Clueless, there's that guy that's like really attractive and like, oh my goodness, you've never seen Clueless? this doesn't work. But in Clueless, there's a really attractive guy, and like the main star, Alicia Silverstone, she's like all into him, and like brings him over. She like wants to sleep with him, and then he just leaves her, and she's like, why? And it turns out he's gay.
Story of my life. So
that would be crazy.
Susannah's life.
I mean, it is LA. Where you know, like there's so many things that could maybe.
Yeah.
That
would explain why he's too good to be true. Why he's too good with his words and sweet. Had coffee, did his research.
All those things. That would make sense. Wow. Great episode. Yeah. Loved it. I absolutely loved it.
It was good.
It was good. I loved it.
I liked it.
Susannah, where can they find you to tell you if they liked it, loved it, hated it? All that.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Susannah_Kim. It's SUSANNAH.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MONSEBOLANOS. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week. If it was your first time, we hope you had fun. Let us know what you think. Yeah. Tweet us. Don't forget The Tomorrow Show, thetomorrowshow.com. Jinx! We almost went an episode without a jinx.
We can't do it.
We can't do it. See you guys next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.